Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad that you're here. I just wanted to give an update on everything that has happened since surgery. I'm so excited to be posting more videos about other things aside from surgery, some things that align more with my Instagram. Very excited for that coming up, but for now I just want to give everybody who's been asking an update on what happened for surgery, what were the minor complications, and all of that. So stay tuned for that. So today I am getting the stent removed. So it's been about a month since surgery. So going into the procedure, I was really nervous. I had a lot of stress, but I was praying and just trusting in the Lord with the whole process. So it started Monday, April 30th. No, April 29th. So it started Monday, April 29th, and I had to do some bowel prep for surgery and all of that. So some of that included drinking magnesium citrate or citrate. I can't figure out how to pronounce it. Everyone I ask says something different too, so I don't know how to actually pronounce it, but magnesium citrate, and then I had to do some other stuff for the bowel prep. So I couldn't eat anything. I could drink clear liquids all the way up until about midnight that night, and then I could drink no more water, nothing else until after surgery. So it wasn't easy exactly, but the magnesium citrate was awful. It tasted so bad. At first I was like, oh, this is no big deal. I don't know why people complain about it. It's really not that bad. But it just, the more I drank it, the more nasty it became and the harder it began to swallow. And it made me feel so sick, like I wanted to throw up, kind of sick. So that was not great, but anyways, I did everything I needed to in the timeline that they gave me, and then the next morning, so at this time I was house sitting, watching two dogs at the neighbor's house, and I was like, this timing is terrible because that's not where I want to be the day before surgery or the morning of surgery either. And it turned out to be not great because I woke up that morning feeling so dizzy, so sick. Like I mean not sick like I had the flu or anything, but like just not well. I couldn't stand, I couldn't really walk. I like scooched down the stairs because I wasn't, like, I don't know what was happening, but it was so weird. And so I called my mom to come pick me up with the golf cart because we didn't live that far, or we don't live that far away from our neighbor. So she came to pick me up, and it was just, I ended up walking the most of the way because by the time I got to the bottom of the stairs, I was like, I think I can do it, I think I can do it. But I was so dizzy, so lightheaded. So that was the start. That was surgery morning. My mom was saying that maybe I felt like that because I was nervous, or maybe it was because I hadn't had anything to eat, or maybe my blood pressure was high or something like that. So she was trying to convince me to like go for a run, go for a walk, try to get the nerves out. So I did end up going for a walk, which is crazy because I could barely walk, but I think that helped me a lot. She told me that if I didn't bring the blood pressure down, that they wouldn't do the procedure on me that day, and I'd have to reschedule and do the bowel prep all over again. I don't know if she was just scaring me into believing that would happen, or if that's actually what would have happened. I'm not sure, but anyways, I got there and my blood pressure was fine, so it all worked out. They got me in pretty fast. I don't know why I expected them to not get me in fast, but like the ball started moving right when we got there. 10 minutes in, yeah, it was crazy. So the procedure was supposed to be 3 to 4 hours long, and mine ended up being 5.5 hours. And unfortunately they did not inform my mom of this, so she was freaking out as an hour and a half had gone by and she still hadn't heard anything. She was trying not to panic. But anyways, so the reason that the procedure was 5.5 hours instead of 3 to 4 hours long is because once they got in there with the camera, they noticed some abnormalities. So instead of one spleen like everyone else has, I have 2 spleens. Now that was nothing to worry about. That was just something they noticed on the side. But with my kidney, so most kidneys, I'm gonna try to like show you guys here. So most people have 1 kidney and 1 ureter, and I believe 2 arteries that kind of cover over it. So the reason I got the procedure is because those arteries were pushing down on my ureter the wrong way, so it was causing a blockage, so that it was kind of like a pinched hose. So the urine from the kidney would drain into the bladder, but not super well. It was just a slow leak, if that makes sense. Not leak, but slow drain. So the procedure normally would be to move this above the arteries so that it could move freely, it wasn't being squished, all of that. So that was what they expected. And they knew that I had a double ureter because some scans that we had showed that I had 2 ureters instead of 1. So kind of what that looks like then is I have 1 kidney, 2 compartments, and 2 ureters that connect and then connect into one and then meet at the bladder. So in this case, they saw that I have 2 ureters, but then I have, I believe, 4 arteries that were covering over them. So 2 on the one and 2 on the other, or at least like 2 arteries to the top compartment and 2 arteries to the bottom one, or something to that effect. I'm doing my best to understand. This was kind of through telephone, so the doctor told my mom and my mom told me once I was more aware of my surroundings. So that's just my understanding of what it looked like in there. So then I had a 2-week appointment, and in there I asked to see some photos because apparently he had photos. The surgeon was really excited about working on such a complicated anatomy, as he said. When I asked to see the photos, he pulls out his personal cell phone and he's showing me photos of my insides. I thought that was crazy, but also really cool. So I have on the bottom compartment, I had the ureter that was going in, and then the 2 arteries that were on top, or at least I think they're 2, there might be 1 artery and 1 something else, but anyways, they were so big. He said that he's never seen arteries that were that big connecting to the kidney before. So it complicated the surgery because, to make it simple, he would have just put, use my hands again, like this, he would have just moved the ureter on top, but because my arteries were so big, no matter which side that he put it on, it was probably going to have the same effect. It was going to be pinched or squished or whatever. So to me, this is just God's grace on me. Like he is so kind, and not a lot of people have 2 ureters, but I have 2 ureters, so he was able to do this. Had I not had two ureters, he likely would not have been able to do the procedure, at least to my understanding. So praise the Lord for 2 ureters, abnormalities. Praise the Lord for abnormalities. So what they did instead, so I had the kidney and the 2 compartments and the 2 ureters. So the top ureter, they just essentially poked a hole in the side and attached it to the lower compartment of the kidney. So right now I have a stent that's in there so that it doesn't create, or it doesn't close because of scar tissue. So that's getting removed today. Anyways, that's the gist of it, and so that's what's cool. And that was the complications that caused my surgery to go from 3 to 4 hours to 5.5 hours. So cool. I think it's awesome. It doesn't affect me at all really, but it's really cool. I mean, it does affect me in the sense that the surgery or the procedure probably wouldn't have been successful if I only had 1. So it does affect me, but it doesn't affect me in any bad way. So it's kind of cool. I have extra parts. So then that night in the hospital, they woke me up and I was feeling nauseous. I ended up throwing up for the first time in 13 years. And I don't think that we should count that. I think I should keep on the streak of not having thrown up. I know that's something weird to be excited about, but I don't like throwing up. So I think that I should just keep the streak because I was just waking up from anesthesia, under a lot of drugs, and I was really not conscious. And they had put, I think from my understanding, the reason that I threw up was because they put the medicine in my IV too fast. It was medicine to keep me from throwing up, and they put it in too fast and it caused me to throw up. So enough about throw up. It's disgusting. But anyway, so I had woken up, that happened, and then I ended up falling asleep immediately after they gave me that medicine, or after throwing up, I guess. I fell asleep, and when I woke up again, I had, my face was, the right side of my face was swollen, and I couldn't open my eye because it felt like there was something in there, stuck in there, and it hurt so bad. And I don't know how to explain it. Doctors didn't know how to explain it. We're thinking maybe something just fell in it, but they kept giving me Benadryl, and then I kept falling asleep because of the Benadryl. I couldn't open my eye until the middle of the night. So that was several hours later before I could even open my eye, and it was several days before I recovered my vision from the eye, in my eye. Everything was just blurry. Like, I mean, I could see, but like everything was blurry. So if I were to close my left eye, I wouldn't be able to read anything, make anything out, because it was just super blurry. So that was just unfortunate, and my lip was swollen, I'm guessing because they had a tube. I'm not great with terms. I don't think I ever knew what it was called, but whatever the tube is that they put in your mouth, I think it pinched my lip or something because my lip was so swollen. So if you've seen the pictures on my Instagram, you can tell that my face is swollen on the right side, so crazy. But so that was just one thing. And then throughout the night, the blood pressure alarm kept going off, so we had nurses in every hour because my blood pressure was way too low. And everyone kept asking me, is your blood pressure normally low? Because that could explain why it's dangerously low right now. And I said no, like my blood pressure is normal. I've never had a problem. No one's ever said I had low blood pressure. So looking back and knowing what I know now, I do have lower blood pressure than normal, but it's not low blood pressure. I'm normally 100/65, like just on average. And that's like, low blood pressure is 90/60. So I'm very, very close. And actually my mom has a blood pressure monitor. So I was able to check like every day since surgery, and throughout the day it goes up and down, and so I do have low blood pressure at some points in the day and then normal at other parts. So looking back, that would have been helpful information to know, but I was like, no, I have normal blood pressure. So the entire night the alarm was going off, and at one point they called the surgeon who did the procedure, and they asked like, what should we do? And they sent in a hospital doctor to check on me and make sure everything was okay. They took some vitals and did some tests and came back, and I'm fine. Everything seemed to be pretty fine, and it's probably because I do border on low blood pressure. So that would make sense. Good information to have known before, but did not know that. So the whole night everyone was freaking out because they're like, is she okay? They kept having to wake me up to make sure that I was not dying, I guess. I'm not entirely sure, but anyways, so that was so scary, especially for my mom. I think she was just sitting there helpless, like she's like, I want to help but I can't, and she wants to make sure that I was okay. That was probably one of the lower parts of it also, and they wanted to keep me for another night, but somewhere between 3 in the afternoon they asked me like, you feel good enough to go home or do you want to stay? And I'm like, I don't know, like I could go home, I guess. I kind of wish I would have stayed, but like looking back, kind of wish I would have stayed. But I am glad that I got home because I was able to sleep through the night and things like that I wouldn't have been able to do in the hospital. So that morning, after that whole night of chaos, that morning we were trying to get something for me to eat because it had been 60 hours since I last ate. So we kept trying to do that, but they hadn't put in my diet yet, I guess. And I guess you have to do that before you can get food. And we kept having like the nurses and everything try to do that, but long story short, it took a couple hours before I got food. So 60 hours had passed, then I finally got food, and I ate like a little applesauce, a little Italian ice, and a single piece of gluten-free toast. It was kind of funny, but anyways, it was really good. I hadn't eaten in 60 hours. I was like, this is delicious. I love it. So that's all I have. I think I have a picture I'll try to put up somewhere that shows the food that I ate. So anyways, that was a whole experience. The nurses were so nice and the doctors were incredible. But yeah, so at some point they took out the catheter and I had to pee on my own, but every time I sat up, I felt like I was gonna pass out. So that was the one thing. There was a couple things that I needed to do before they could officially release me, and one was get up and go to the bathroom. Not on my own, but because I had help getting to the bathroom, but definitely I needed to be able to sit up without passing out. So once that happened, they were like, oh, okay, she's doing pretty good. Before surgery, they told me that I'd have to take a walk around the hospital before being released, and TMI, but I had to have a bowel movement before I left the hospital. None of those things happened. I went pee and that was it for them. They're like, okay, you're good to go. And this is why I wish I would have stayed another night in the hospital, because they would have maybe noticed that and had me on some stool softener or something, because by Saturday, so I was released from the hospital on Wednesday, by Saturday I was in the worst pain of my life. I now, you know, for referencing pain, they're like, on a scale of 1 to 10, my new thing is on a scale of 1 to Saturday, where's my pain at? I used to say 1 to 10, and when I say my pain level is at an 8. Now an 8 is more like a 2 because of how painful Saturday was. I've never felt so much pain as I have on Saturday, which for those on Instagram, coming from Instagram, you know that that was the day I went to run club. And there's some confusion behind that. No, I didn't run. I didn't even walk. I was in a wheelchair. The only time I walked was when I got up from the wheelchair to stand for the photo. I'm gonna put the photo here. That was the only time that I walked. And then I think, so I had my dad and my brother come with me. So we went in and we got some coffee. I didn't drink coffee, I drank chai latte. So we had the chai, I drank the chai, and then by the time everyone else came back from the run, that's when I stood up and walked outside because I just felt weird in a wheelchair. I was like, I can technically walk, just not super well. So yeah, so I went out and I like walked around a little bit, but that was probably the most walking I had done since before surgery. So that definitely could have contributed to the pain levels that I had on Saturday. Was just pushing myself too far Saturday morning, because then by Saturday, so we went to run club at 7 a.m. By 10 a.m. I was in pain, and it just got worse from there. It was too soon. It was 4 days after surgery, 3 days since being released from the hospital. Like, I definitely should not have been walking around so much. But another reason that I could have been in pain is because I still hadn't had a bowel movement. Not since Monday with the bowel prep. So again, TMI, but so I was in contact with my aunt who is a nurse, and she put me on a bunch of stool softeners and other things just to try to get things flowing, and really nothing helped until about Monday. So that was, I was in pain all day Saturday, most of the day Sunday, and then by Monday, things started feeling a little bit better, but I had been in pain a lot of days after that. My aunt also said that having been a couple days off of the pain medicines that they were giving me and the anesthesia and everything, that probably just wore off about Saturday, just in time to feel all of that pain. So that was a whole thing, and I would not want to repeat it. And then since surgery, I've had a UTI, which, if you've had one, you know, not a good time. So 4 weeks of a UTI is not what I expected for the recovery process. But today, praying that the UTI goes away after the stent is removed, because the reason I have a UTI and have had it since surgery is because of the stent, because there's a foreign object in my body and my body doesn't like it. So they gave me some pain medicines for that, but it wasn't really working, so I didn't want to keep taking this pain medicine if it's not doing anything. So definitely took that out of the plan. So today, getting the stent removed, I'm so excited. I'm hoping that the pain in my kidney goes away, because I've still had pain since surgery. Still have pain pretty much every day in my kidney, and then the UTI pain. So that should all go away after today. So this is exciting. I just wanted to update you guys, tell you the story of how surgery went and all the ups and downs that happened. But yeah, today we're going to go get the stent removed, and hoping and praying that all that pain goes away after today. Thank you guys for watching, and can't wait to the next video when it starts to become a little bit more niche related to my Instagram. So love you guys. Thanks for watching. We just got back from getting the stent removed, and I can tell you, first of all, 0 out of 10 experience, would not recommend that to a friend, but immediately the UTI symptoms were gone, and so praise the Lord for that. Now my kidney still hurts a little bit, but the UTI symptoms are gone, so I'm counting it as a win, and I fully expect once my body gets used to not having a stent there that maybe my kidney will start feeling itself. So I didn't realize this, but next steps are to get a renal scan and an ultrasound, and then have another appointment with the doctor and go over those results and make sure everything's working as it should. More updates to come, who knew? But I am very excited to have the stent out and to hopefully start feeling myself again and having everything go back to normal. So anyways, that's all for now. Until next time, bye guys.